Hello everyone. In this presentation, I am talking about the stakeholder management. My name is Parth, and my other group member names Tilina and Darshna. I would like to start this presentation concept of the stakeholder management. Uh, uh, the main content of this study. First, introductions. We can see that according to the author, uh, the individuals and representative the body that the contribute either the directly or the indirectly to its value, uh, uh, creating the efficacy and activities, and therefore it's possibly beneficiary and or the risk the barrier. Second point, in the general terms, any single volunteers or the a group of the volunteers who can affect or the affected by the performance or the success of from the objects. Next slide. uh, I am talking about the stakeholder management. uh, it is the process by which involve the organizing the monitoring and improving the relationship with the stakeholder. Why it is the importance? It the prepares a strategy based on the information gathered during is the identification and the analysis phase of the process, aiming to support the strategic object objectives of organizations. Purpose: the main purpose of the stakeholders management is to identify all people or the bodies which are the influenced by projects, to scrutinize the stakeholders needs and to efficiently involve the stakeholders for the better performance. Next slide. Stakeholder management focus on the integration integrations of process required to identify stakeholders, uh, now filling the communication gap with the stakeholder to recognize their the expectations, identifying the issue when the occurs, internal and external conflicts management, engage the stakeholders in the project's determinations and the relevant the activities. Next slide. Checklists to be followed for the effectively uh, stakeholder management. For checklist: identification of the stakeholders, development of strategies, perform risk impact analysis, and last executes plans. uh, Next slide explain the Telina.
Thank you, Pat. My name is Tirana, and here I'm going to talk about the stakeholder analysis. This topic elaborates the stakeholder environment and how to prioritize the management resources. First step of stakeholder analysis is identify the stakeholders. All the people who are affected to the project can be considered as stakeholders. As an example, analysis, shareholders, government teams, and lengths and etc. The next step is to prioritize the stakeholders according to the stakeholder list. We can prioritize them individually stakeholder level of power and interest. Each individual stakeholder must influence the project. The position which stakeholder added into the grid shows the actions you need to take with them. According to this figure, by Lesson and Gray 2018 Project Management, the managerial process book, describe high power and high interest people should manage closely. High power and less interest people should keep satisfied. Lower power and highly interest people must keep informed, and lower power and less interest people should monitor carefully. Next slide, please. The next slide is describe how to understand the key stakeholders. In here, we must think carefully what financial or emotional interest do they have the outcome of our project. The next question should come into our mind is what motivates them and what information they seek from us. The first stage of analysis identifies the key stakeholders. The next step is prioritize them according to the power and interest. Last step is what motivates your stakeholder and how to win them around. Next slide, please. In here, we discuss about the stakeholder communication plan. Stakeholder communication plan, we discuss about how and what is communicated is influenced by power and interest. These stakeholders capable to either project get blocked or enhance the project due to the identify and prioritize stakeholder according to the power and interest grid is very important to the project success. In communication plan, first step identified what information relevant to the stakeholder who contribute the project progress, identify stakeholders requirements and provide information when they needed it. Next slide. In this slide, we discuss the step, which is dissemination modes. Many companies are using the web to create virtual project office to store project information. Project management software feed information directly to the website so that different people has access in different information. Last step to determine who will send out the information, timing and frequency distribution according to the appropriate information need to be established. Next slide, please. This slide discuss about the advantages of communication plan. First advantage is flow of information controlling. Second one is reducing the confusion and unnecessary interruption. Final advantage of communication plan is letting know senior managers project progress and make them more comfortable. Next is strategies discussed by Darshana.
Thank you, Telina. Today I am talking about the stakeholder management strategies. It's the activity of identifying, analysis, and influencing the stakeholders. These slides discuss about what is the core of stakeholder management strategy and why detail about the strategies. The stakeholder management strategies is to transform the stakeholder relationship from a less favorable to more favorable one. The purpose is to get optimum output and support from stakeholders. This can be done by using strategy to collaborate with the stakeholder and to involve the stakeholder in a decision making in the project work, as well as applying a participatory management techniques. Go to the next slides. Here in the next slide, in this slide, stakeholder management strategy are discussed and how to effective implementation of the stakeholder. There are four different types of strategies in this framework. We can see this framework. There are four types: the mixed blessing, supportive, non-supportive, and a marginal. In the core implementation of a framework is the managerial resource should be dedicated to the stakeholder with a high harm and health potential rather than equally distributed among all the stakeholders. Moreover, I can say that a mixed blessing stakeholder is especially important because this stakeholder may turn into a supportive stakeholder or a non-supportive stakeholder over a time depending on the development of the relationship with the stakeholder. The strategy towards a mixing blessing stakeholder should be to collaborate. If maximum collaboration exists, it is more difficult for the stakeholder to threaten the focal organization. Furthermore, I can see the stakeholder relationship more less favorable and to more favorable one. This can be done by involving the stakeholder in decision making the project work. The research intended to provide an empirical answer to how this strategy can participated and how they may involve over time and under what condition. The construction contribution in this they said very good sense in the project country because project cannot accomplish without the willingness and ability to contribute to by stakeholder with a high helm potential. Go to the next slide. In this next slide, to conclude that the next slide, I can conclude that the important part of the stakeholder management to be highlighted. The stakeholder management is to process by which involve the organizing, monitoring, and improving relationship with the stakeholder. Stakeholder analysis elaborate the stakeholder environment and how to prioritize the management resources. The stakeholder communication, we discussed about how and what is communicated in influence by stakeholder power and interest. Stakeholders are the integral part of any project. So it is high important to decide stakeholder management strategies and its effective implementation to run the project smoothly. Go to the next slide, please. Thank you. This is the references and thank you so much.